Singapore, the tiny island that became richer than America. Imagine a country with absolutely no natural resources. No oil, no gold, no fertile farmland, no rivers, not even enough fresh water to survive on its own. Now imagine that same country becoming one of the richest, cleanest, safest, and most powerful nations on Earth in less than 60 years. That is not a fairy tale. That is Singapore. A tiny island at the bottom of Southeast Asia, smaller than the city of Los Angeles, that somehow outcompeted entire continents and built a standard of living that makes most American cities look ordinary by comparison. Today, Farground takes you inside the full story of Singapore, how it went from a desperate, resourceless island that was literally thrown out of its own country to a global financial powerhouse that the entire world is still trying to understand. The answer begins with one man, Lee Kuan Yew. He served as Singapore's prime minister from 1959 to 1990, and his vision for Singapore was unlike anything any other leader attempted in the 20th century. He was not interested in ideology. He was not interested in popularity. He was interested in one thing only: results. He made decisions that were controversial, strict, and sometimes deeply unpopular. He cracked down hard on corruption, making Singapore one of the least corrupt nations on Earth almost overnight. He invested heavily in education, infrastructure, and housing at a time when Singapore could barely afford to do so. He created a merit-based system where talent and hard work, not family connections or ethnicity, determined how far you could go. The numbers behind Singapore's rise are almost impossible to believe. In 1965, Singapore's GDP per capita was roughly $500. Today, it stands at over $80,000, higher than the United States, higher than Germany, higher than Japan, higher than the United Kingdom. Let that sink in for a moment. A country with zero natural resources has a higher income per person than America. Singapore today is home to the world's busiest cargo port, handling over 600 million tons of goods every single year. It is one of the top 3 global financial centers in the world, alongside New York and London. Its Changi Airport has been consistently ranked the best airport on Earth for years running. Singapore Airlines is regularly voted the world's best airline. Over 5,000 multinational companies have chosen Singapore as their Asian headquarters, including Google, Apple, Facebook, and almost every major bank and financial institution operating in Asia. Singapore succeeded because it built systems that simply work better than almost anywhere else on Earth. Education in Singapore is consistently ranked number 1 or number 2 globally. Children are pushed hard from an early age. Mathematics, science, and critical thinking are at the absolute core of the curriculum. The result is a workforce that competes at the highest level with anyone in the world. Housing in Singapore is handled through a unique government system called the HDB, the Housing Development Board. Over 80% of Singaporeans live in government-built housing that is high quality, affordable, and well-maintained. The government ensures that every citizen has a decent place to live. Homelessness in Singapore is virtually non-existent. Healthcare is world-class and affordable. Infrastructure is flawless. Public transport is clean, punctual, and efficient in a way that makes most American cities feel decades behind. Today, Singapore faces new challenges. The cost of living has risen dramatically, making it one of the most expensive cities in the world. Housing prices have surged. The pressure on young Singaporeans to succeed academically and professionally is intense and well documented. Singapore is also preparing for a future beyond its founding generation. The leaders who built this nation from nothing are gone. The question now is whether the systems they created are strong enough to carry Singapore through the next 50 years, through the rise of AI, through climate change, through shifting global trade patterns, and through a world that is changing faster than at any point in history. But if Singapore's past has taught the world anything, it is to never underestimate this island.